beautiful muses. Welcome to this Friday Insight, Ask a Question. I'm moving a little bit away from that real kind of, I don't know if I would say brittle, but I've done the yes, no, maybe for a long time. And sometimes I tend to always want to give a maybe. I don't love such concrete. I do love the yes and no's, but I don't know. I'm just being called to do more open-ended questions. So bringing a question here that's a little bit open-ended. So framing it sort of in the, I'll give some examples like, how can I? How is this? Why is this? In what way can I? Those are a few ways you could start a question that would make it so it's not a yes-no question. That being said, I started last week kind of switching into this framework, and I did a little bit slightly longer than my other yes-nos just to be able to really mine the question. And I do intend to go back to that, but for this week, I have other things I do in my life, so I'm pretty structured about a time frame in which I record my readings each week. I set aside a portion of one day to do them, and this week I had something else that came up that I had to attend to, so I have a little less time. So I'm going to do a very quick read, sort of how I did the yes, no, maybes with 3 cards, really getting a quick picture. I won't mine it as much as I did in my last reading or intend to do in the future, but hopefully at least giving a little bit of a snapshot of some insight into whatever question you bring here. And I'm also just going to do 3 piles this week. I just wanted to give enough time to the readings where I don't feel rushed. So structuring them so that I only have 3 and that they're, not too many cards, so I can take my time in the readings I've designed. So that said, I've got 3 piles here today. We've got blue Orca Agate for pile 1. We've got the Snakeskin Agate for pile 2. And the black Obsidian for pile 3. So take a minute to really feel into the stones or the pile number, whatever is really drawing you in as holding the aligned message for the question that you are bringing here. And then when you are ready, you can jump down to the timestamps in the descriptions, and I will then see you in your readings. All right, see you guys. Hello, beautiful muses. Welcome to your pile 1 reading for a question you want some insight into. So I've picked some decks to use that connect to the energy of where I am, and when this reading is going to come out will be very close to Halloween and Samhain. So kind of using some of those witchy autumn feeling kind of cards. And just like I used to do in the yes, no, maybe questions, just tuning into some intuitive hits that came as I connected to your stone, as well as when I was preparing your piles. And what's standing out to me about your stone is this was the last stone I kind of intuitively grabbed. I wanted to go for like an autumn feel, so I was looking for darker stones. And this one didn't feel like it matched the others, but I still felt like it was supposed to be part of it. And I have a little bit of an aesthetic bent, so I get kind of annoyed if things don't look beautiful together. And I was like, I don't know if it's going to match, but it's what was calling, so that's what it is. And when I got it in the row, it felt really aligned and really beautiful in there. And then when I kind of placed it over here for this reading, it just felt so right. And so I do feel something around this question where it's like, there may be some some feelings around whatever question you brought here of like, is this right? Does this match? Is it aligned? And kind of an urging to like try something on though, because there may be something about your question that surprises you if you try something with it, if you try something on about it or test something about it that you're not sure about. There's some kind of component here if you add in or test out that will surprise you, where it's like, oh, this actually is really in sync. So that's just kind of a general intuitive sense that came through. And we are now going to look at your cards. We've got a Season of the Witch Samhain card, and it says All Hallows Eve. It's the first card. I love that. Call upon the voices that stir your senses through the night. Cast an unforgiven howl as you stomp your might through the ground. Ooh, very mysterious. I can't help but feel like this woman in this, it's like a silhouette of her meeting the unseen with courage. Really, yeah, dropping into your senses, it's like meeting there's like something unseen maybe that is a key component that it's like you sense, but you're like, but is that right? And like claiming it, calling out to it, claiming it, drawing it to you. Stomp and howl and draw it in and see that when it arrives, when you face something unseen here, it actually is very right. And this could even be for some of you, because I feel like she's throwing her weight around a little bit, like standing up to something, asking for what you need. If that feels scary or off in some way, it's like, yeah, but maybe you just need to do it. And maybe when you do, it'll be like, oh, that felt so good and so right. Yeah. Okay, let's look at another card. This is the Between Worlds card, Valley of Knowledge. So the Valley cards are all about journeys that we either are on or should be going on. So there's something here about gaining insight through experience, gaining knowledge through having gone through something. What can you draw on? What have you been through in the past where you feel like you have some knowledge that's like maybe a key element here, and that like when you plug into like, I actually have experiential wisdom in this, and how do I need to apply that to this question and own it and throw the weight of it out there? I think you've been through something that's given you a certain knowing that's much deeper than just being informed. Like something here, and you need to be using that to inform how you approach this question. It needs to be more plugged in. Yeah, okay, let's see what tarot card you got. The World. Yeah, this is all about like, you need to trust yourself. You need to throw your weight around a little bit here. I think you have more of an upper hand in this question than you think, whatever that means to you. You have more stability in this question than you realize. You have more authority in this question than you realize. You have more control over some kind of direction or outcome or curiosity than you realize. You hold the key here. You have knowledge within you. You're stronger than you think, and you need to put it out. You need to have the courage to say or stomp or ask for whatever is coming up in you. And even like plugging into the one here, the number one, it's like, this is very like find some self-directed motivation here. This is on you to do something. You have the control. You need to assert something. you have more mastery, authority, and wisdom and knowledge than you're recognizing. And so just, step up to the plate and do whatever it is you feel you need to do around this question. Yeah, I hope that resonates with you, pile 1, and gives you some insight into something about your question. If so, I always appreciate the like and share and subscribe. And I am really grateful to have you here. I love doing these readings and just appreciate the support. And like always, I'll say I also am very grateful for kind and thoughtful comments as well. All right, I will see you in future readings, and I hope you have a beautiful day wherever and whenever you are. Hello, pile 2. Welcome to your Friday insight, and looking into an open-ended question that you're bringing here. I have 3 cards here. We've got a Samhain card. When this is coming out, it's going to be around that season, and some other kind of autumny feeling cards. Before we jump into the cards, though, similar to what I did in my yes/no readings, I am plugging into kind of intuitive hits that came by focusing on the stone in your pile and just how things felt as I was preparing your pile. And it's funny, I kind of have to reference the first reading. I don't necessarily think you need to go to the first reading, but to make sense of the intuitive hit I got here, referencing the first reading will be helpful. So the stone I picked for pile 1 was one that it didn't make sense to me. It didn't kind of go with the color scheme and autumnness I was feeling, but it ended up feeling and bringing like a beautiful depth into things. Whereas this stone, when I picked it, it kind of had this dark, orangey, autumny tone to it that felt very, Samhain to me. But then when I kind of put it down by the leaves in the corner where I put them, it actually had this incredible lightness to it. So both these first 2 stones have kind of surprised me how they've ended up feeling in their readings. And it's almost like the light has shifted a little bit from when I first started this. So on screen it may look a little darker, but in person and when I first put it down, it was a little lighter because of the light on it, and it just like blended into the leaves. And it made me feel like it was really referencing the leaves, that there's something about this question where it's time to, like falling leaves, just kind of let things be, let something go here, go with the flow a little, tap into that airiness of a leaf falling to the ground, and ease, find some more ease about this, find some more relaxation about whatever question you've brought here. There's something Spirit wants to communicate about just relaxing, letting things be. So in that context, overarching context, let's look at the cards and see how those reference that intuitive hit. Okay, so the season of the witch says dark moon 13. The dark of your heart, in the dark of your heart lives new breath, waiting for you to release its ghost. Oh, I love that. That's very poetic. And I can't help but connect 13 is a very feminine number. There's 13 moon cycles in a solar year, and it connects into the feminine moon. So there's something very feminine going on here. And that autumn time is our entry into really yin energy, which is about pleasure and richness and depth and kind of relaxing into things. So that's kind of coming through again. But also in the darkness is where we find our inner light. And so there may be something about, like, if you stop, this gives context of like maybe where you're trying around this question is very outward. And it's like, if you let that go and let that be, there will be this like natural inner turning, like turning inward, and you may find something lighter and an inner light that has a richness and a darkness that just releases something in you. Yeah, so I do feel like it's about letting go of something externally, turning inward, and that being able to release that external pressure, but also finding that inner light that releases some sort of inner darkness as well. So I feel a beautiful lightness but richness at the same time in this, kind of as advice coming through. Okay, triumph. This feels kind of like the phoenix, like something's burning away. Triumph. I feel like the triumph here is like finding that inner light, that inner guidance. Letting go of something externally will actually bring you the triumph you need. And finding that inner guidance and that inner light will bring you the triumph you need. So there is, if this were to be a yes, no, maybe reading, I do feel like there's an essence of a yes here, but only through kind of letting go of something externally and really connecting into your inner light and letting something burn off of you. Okay, last card, we've got strength. Yeah, I think as you turn inward, you're going to find that, that inner light you tap into is where your real strength is. And you're going to find that strength and shine it outward. So instead of like trying to source some strength external to you, it's in you. You have to turn inward to find it. Your strength will turn on. It's going to release something from within you and relax something external to you. And that's kind of what I'm getting here. The answer to this question is all within you, but you have to kind of like go there and relax about external things at the moment with this question. Yeah, beautiful. I love this insight. For some of you, this may feel hard. But I think for a lot of you, the season can kind of inspire this kind of transition in a very natural way. And tapping into that first intuitive hit, something did feel easy. So I feel like for a lot of you, this may actually just kind of be coming on naturally anyway. Okay, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. If this resonated, I always appreciate the things like, share, subscribe, and I am just really grateful to have you here. I love doing these readings. I would do them probably anyway, even if no one came. But I am, but that just makes me all the more grateful when people do come and support, and even more gratitude when there's kind and thoughtful comments. I love feeling that human connection as well. Okay, I hope you guys have a beautiful day wherever and whenever you are, and I hope to see you in future readings. Hello, Pile 3. Welcome to your Friday insight into a question you have brought here. Before I jump into the cards, similar to what I do or did in my yes no readings, is really tapping into both your stone and just the vibe that I felt as I was preparing your pile for some initial kind of intuitive sensing around the energy of this question. And I have to say, when I was picking stones, an intention I had going into it, I always try to be intuitive, but I also usually have some kind of aesthetic intention or mood intention, and I wanted it to feel connected to the deep autumn feeling of things. And so the obsidian of any of the stones just felt so natural. And now having it out and drawing your cards, it was like this feeling of like, yes, this was exactly the feel I wanted, exactly the tone, exactly the mood. And it makes me feel like some intuitive guidance coming through is like trust yourself. If you make an intention around this question, you will steer yourself correctly and the outcome will feel right. So trust trust your own inner guidance and make some clear intention around this question and trust it, because it will, a rightness will come from that, I think. Okay, that being said, let's tune into your 3 cards to get a little more insight. So our Season of the Witch Samhain card is Voices. Card 42, so I don't know if 42 means anything to you. If Voices does, and then let's read this. It says, with a tug at the gut feeling, reading this incorrectly. With a tug at the gut, feel them romance your very breath. Listen to the gentle flickering within your eyes, for this is where they guide. With a tug at the gut, feel them. I don't know who them is. Them romance your breath. Listen to the gentle flickering within your eyes, for this is where they guide. I feel like this is like the spirit of your eyes, almost like trust your eyes here. They will like connect you to your gut, to your breath, and they're like the guidance here, which would make sense in terms of like how I had like a very visual goal around or intention around that stone. There's something about seeing your eyes kind of being the touch point into your intuition. So not necessarily externalizing things, but trusting that what your eyes want to see is meaningful and opens you up to your intuition. So it's like visualize, like what do you want to visualize around this question? What can you visualize around this question? That's a gateway into, spirit and inspiration, as well as like gut knowing. It's really going to like plug you in and really guide you well here. So something about visualizing. And then voices being the big lettered keyword here. I don't know, maybe you need to voice it too. Say something out loud about what you visualize around this question. Do some work visualizing something, some outcome you want from this question, visualize it and then voice it. Yeah, okay. Let's move on to the next card, Humility. To me, this is connecting into like, at the same time as being clear with some kind of intention around what you visualize and allowing that to bring some inspired breath in and some gut knowings in, to still be really humble about things you don't know here. There's probably things you don't know that you don't know around this question, if that makes sense. I think there's a lot of unknowns around this question. So all the more reason to approach this in a very intuitive way rather than a really logical way. And I think being intuitive rather than logical is a form of being humble, of recognizing that your mind may not have the question or the answer or be the best guide in this question, and being humble enough to allow inspiration to guide you and visualization to guide you and gut knowings to guide you. Giving into the body and spirit rather than what you can rationalize and reason and logically deduce about things. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling about that. Okay, let's see your tarot card, Eight of Earth. There's some practiced skillfulness you have as well that you need to trust. Your instinct is very honed around something that can be helpful to your question, but because of a certain practice instinct you have, that lives in your body, not your mind. So trust your body to steer you right. Trust the instinct that comes up. You could also do something you're skillful at where you can drop out of your mind because you have such muscle memory developed in it, and give yourself over to that in order to kind of get out of your mind, just like doing something that you can do rhythmically and instinctually that will it's not that thing is going to bring you your answer, but it helps you to get into instinct and opens you up to some kind of answer within you that it just helps you to get into that space that you need to be in order to be in the right place to even visualize, to even connect to inspiration and intuition. So that's what's coming through there. So that's where, I don't know, that's what's coming through. That's the guidance I am seeing is get out of your mind. Most of all, trust your body, be humble enough to get out of there. If you need help with it, find something you can just do instinctually, and some kind of inner guidance and inner visualization and inspiration will enter your body. But it's like getting into a place of humility to let that come into you. Okay, that is where I'm going to leave you guys. I hope this resonated. I hope it brought some insight for you. If so, I always appreciate the things like, share, and subscribe. And definitely just like grateful for all of you that come and support my channel and my readings. I really enjoy doing these. And secondarily, always grateful for kind and thoughtful comments as well. I love that human feel. So I hope you have a beautiful day wherever and whenever you are, and I will see you in future readings.